Truck Driver: The Dutch Connection sounds like a solid Jason Statham movie, but it's about as cinematic as, well, driving a truck, minus Jason Statham for company. No explosions, no shootouts, just you and your truck. And more importantly, no claims of simulation in sight. So, is it any good? Or is it a pile-up of shite? Watch on and find out. The Dutch Connection is a spin-off of the original Truck Driver, which itself was more simulation-leaning and similar to other truck games, except, at least on console, it's considered dirt, but not as bad as On the Road Truck Simulator, a truly offensive game. I didn't expect much going into this one, I have to say, but there is something here. Not greatness by any means, but something. One major positive is the lack of simulation attached to it. It's not trying to compete directly with the likes of Euro Truck Simulator or its dumb cousin. Instead of selling a cheap, flavourless loop of go here, take this, get money, do it again for more numbers, the Dutch Connection wants to tell a story. It's a story game delivered as freight via a truck game. There's no real management here, no company to build up, no empire to manage, just a story to follow, and you just so happen to be doing it behind the wheel of a truck. It actually reminded me of Grand Theft Auto. It's taking GTA's favoured exposition vehicle, long dialogue-filled drives, and making an entire game out of it, trimming away the murder and shark cards, of course. And it's a novel concept, and I'm always down for something a little bit different. While the game strips away the management side of trucking from the couch, the core gameplay is pretty much what you'd expect. You drive a truck, you deliver cargo, and you do it all in chapters, which is a nice structure to have, knowing there is a definitive end. There is some management, but it's basic. You need to fill your truck with fuel when it's running low, get repairs when you need to, rest, eat, and assign skill points that act as buffs. But it drops most of the stressors, instead focusing on putting players on the open road and holding their ears hostage with radio chatter. It wouldn't be so bad if the gameplay could hold up its end, but sadly it's not one that I can easily recommend. It's slippery. It's not going for simulation, but I shouldn't be able to drift like a speed demon, should I? The handling is poor and just doesn't feel great. It's missing that connection somewhere along the way between screen, controller and player. The tactile nature of driving a massive truck has been lost. I appreciate it's kind of easy to pick up and play, but it's not easy to keep the ride going smoothly, and it's a bit frustrating, and it detracts from the story. How can I take my character seriously when he's casually chatting away after I've just sent a family of 5 to the other side? There's also very little risk or consequence for being a bad driver. Sure, you do get fined for causing accidents or running red lights, but I don't think it's possible for you to be so bad that you can't progress to the next chapter. You just don't end the chapter with as much money, which is basically a point system, as money is not your goal here. So yeah, why should I wait through the traffic? And sometimes you don't want to wait because the AI can be idiotic. Graphically, the Dutch Connection is an interesting one. It can look pretty good in certain lighting at certain times for a few certain moments, and there's definitely something to be said about the atmosphere that the developers have tried to create, especially with the use of weather. But the flip side is that it doesn't look great a lot of the time. It can be blurry, especially playing in first-person view, where it looks like you're looking through the eyes of someone not fully with it, and that's no matter which of the performance profiles you choose to play with. I started not knowing there was a performance mode, so I was initially quite disappointed with the sluggish response at 30 FPS, but I did eventually find the performance mode, which targets 60 FPS, and after switching to that, it was an improvement for the controls and responsiveness, but the graphics, well, at best, it looks like an early PS4 game, and at its worst, a myopic fever dream. Spotify is my go-to gaming buddy when I'm playing any kind of driving game, but this one tried to buck that trend by having me focus on the game's story. But it's a direction it takes that I see as a missed opportunity. It's far too easy to ignore the story. You've got multiple camera views, freedom to look around, stop and go as you please. I kind of wish it had been a bit more restrictive. Force every player into the cockpit view, where the windscreen acts as a cinema. Put the stories there and let us drive through and spectate. I know, it's easy for me to say from my desk. What we have though is okay. In fact, the writing is pretty decent and the acting is very good too, but the effort to mix trucking with narrative falls short because just putting them together isn't enough. There needs to be a tweak, changes to the recipe. And like I said, the forced first-person view, risky but more interesting, perhaps. Truck Driver: The Dutch Connection tried to blend the chill nature of truck driving with a passive narrative, and it doesn't convince on either side. It's an okay distraction. It works, and if you've got the patience to contend with the controls, or perhaps just not treat the speed limit as a minimum, maybe you'll get more out of it. But without the simulation loop, is there going to be much reason to get back out there once you've done the final chapter? Well, to be fair, I think by the time you've hit the end credits, you'll have had enough miles on the ticker. As it stands though, it is the best truck sim, despite not being a sim, that I've played on console. But I still can't recommend it other than to those who must have trucking in their lives, fill your boots, and those who are interested in the experimental stuff, which this definitely is with its trucker story. And that is the end of this review. And look, there's more stuff to watch. If you enjoyed this video and want more, go on down below, check out the description and hit the like and subscribe buttons, as well as the bell icon so you stay up to date on the latest videos. I've been Chris, you've been gorgeous, and I'll see you on the flip side. Until then, cheerio.